This is a special town meeting for the town of Spencer. My name is Peter Adams. I'm your town moderator. I'm advised that we have a quorum and call the meeting to order, waiving the reading of the return on the warrant and noting for the record that it has been served and posted as required by law. For those of you who are willing and able, would you please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We're going to make this fast because everybody's cold. Your history lesson was put on a table back there, so I'll spare you that. We want to thank Spencer Cable Access for their continuing support in televising these meetings. And the chair would like to extend congratulations to Senator Ann Goby, Representative Peter Durant, and Representative Donnie Berthium for the recent elections to the State House, and extend the best wishes of the town meeting to them in their future endeavors. Select Board is here. Finance Committee is here. This is Laura Torty, the town clerk. The meeting will be governed by town meeting time on questions of policy and procedure. And you know the rules. If you want to speak, please do so at the microphone. At this point, the chair will recognize Chairman Anthony Peppers, please.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming out and participating on this warm November evening. We want to start off the night with a presentation. As I'm sure many of you are aware, in the last few years we've brought up a lot of events back to the town of Spencer, such as the Halloween party for the kids, the Parade of Lights, and the Family Fun Day. And that's due primarily to the efforts of the Celebration Committee led by Donnie and Wendy Berthium. So I'm going to let them make a presentation this evening. So I'd like to call up key members of the Celebration Committee, Wendy Berthium, Representative-elect Donnie Berthium, and Representative Peter Durant.
Thank you, everyone, for coming tonight. A little cold in here, so we'll make this quick. A few years ago when we started this, it was 6 years ago or so now, the yearly prize was just a trophy and a plaque, kind of sort of what Wendy's holding now. I think it was 4 years ago we came up with this idea for a cup. So this cup is the prize every year for the best decorated fire truck, and it travels to the town of the winner, and it remains there for the whole year until the parade the next year. Fortunately, or unfortunately for other towns, Spencer has won it, so it's remained in Spencer for the past 4 years. Right, it's a Spencer Cup, basically. We were looking for a name for it, so we talked to the fire department because it is a fire department issue and prize. So the members of the association got together and a bunch of the firemen, and they came up with who we were going to name the cup after, so that's what we're going to do tonight. Could I have Tara and Brittany up here, please? You could have sat at the front. It would have been a lot easier for you. This is Tara and Brittany Flannery. So the fire department came back to us and they said they wanted to name the cup after Tara's husband, Billy. If you don't know, Billy was a longtime fireman, and I'll read through some of the things he did here. He started as an auxiliary firefighter in 1973 with the Spencer Fire Department. In 1977, that's when he converted to be a regular firefighter. He was district fire chief from 1988 to 1994. He was also a water commissioner from 1984 to 1987, a special police officer from 1990 to 1994, district forest fire warden for 1995. He also was a member of the rescue squad for a while and coached the Merchant Basketball League for a while. And he was very active in the Spook Walk, if you remember when the fire department did that years ago for a long time down there. Tara and Billy they were married 17 years when he passed. And this is his daughter, Brittany, and she has a brother, and Tara's son, Keith, who wasn't available tonight. So tonight we want to dedicate this cup to him. And we have a little something for Tara, too. Billy was born September 20th, 1955, to Henry and Rita Flannery, and then passed away May 26, 1998, at the age of 42. He was working for the highway department and got cancer and passed away, unfortunately. So we want to recognize tonight all the things that he did for the town and everything that he put into the Spencer Fire Department. So we're going to read this cup, and then we have a little something for you. I can't see that far away, buddy. Yeah, you can read it.
This is the William J. Flannery Memorial Cup, C3 District Chief, Spencer Fire Department. Thank you so much for your service.
You don't get to keep the cup. Tara doesn't get to keep the cup. The cup goes with the town. But we did have a plaque made. The select board did this. I'll read it. This is for you, Tara. William J. Flannery Memorial Cup. Dedicated on this day, Thursday, November 13th, 2014, in recognition of his service to the Spencer Fire Department and the town of Spencer. And it has his dates here, September 20th, 1955 to May 26th, 1998. And that's for you. Thank you. We'll take this so it doesn't get smashed. Thank you.
Article 1. The motion I have is, I move to waive the reading and approve Article 1 as printed in the warrant. Article 1 is an article to approve the payment of a bill from the prior fiscal year in the amount of $193.06 from the police department account, and to pay that to the police department account and pay that from free cash. It's a prior year's bill, requires a 9/10 vote. Are there any questions or comments on Article 1? Ready for the vote? All those in favor, please raise your cards. Thank you. And those opposed? That's a unanimous vote. And the motion carries. Article 2. The motion I have is I move to waive the reading and approve Article 2 as printed on the warrant. It requires a 9/10 vote. This is a prior year's bill for the Water Department, $1,838, and will be paid from their free cash, which is called retained earnings. And the Finance Committee, please. My apologies, Mary.
Finance Committee unanimously recommended approval.
And on Article 1, the Finance Committee.
Unanimously recommended.
All right, there we go. Thank you. Any questions or comments? All those in favor, please raise your cards. Thank you. Those opposed? And the chair declares that a unanimous approval of the article. Article 3. Article 3 is an authorization to amend a previously approved article. This is the article for the Smith Regional Agricultural High School tuition and transportation accounts. It adds $22,460 to the tuition account, $1,800 to the transportation account, and this amends Article 12, which was part of the annual town meeting, and this is due to additional student going to the school. This requires a majority vote. The motion I have is to waive the reading and approve it as printed in the warrant. Questions or comments? All those in favor, please raise your cards. Thank you. Those opposed? I see one. We'll declare that 49-1 in favor, and the motion carries. Article 4. Article 4, the motion I have is to waive reading and approve Article 4 as printed in the warrant. This is an article to reduce the appropriation with regard to the Tantascwa Regional Non-Resident Tuition and Transportation Account. The motion is by Mr. Woodbury, seconded by Mr. Pepe. Finance Committee, please.
Unanimously recommends approval.
Thank you. Questions or comments? All those in favor, please raise your cards. Thank you. Those opposed? The chair will declare that as a unanimous vote, and the article carries. Article 5. Article 5 is authorization to rescind the previously approved article for the fiscal 2015 general government operating budget, contingent upon approval of Article 6. What is happening here is there are additional funds being added into the budget under Article 6, so we're going to rescind the original article for the budget and then act on a new budget on the next article. So this motion is by Mr. Pepe, seconded by Mr. Woodbury. It requires a majority vote, and again, your vote is contingent upon approval of Article 6. Finance Committee, please.
Recommends approval.
Questions or comments? All those in favor? Thank you. Those opposed? I see none. We'll declare that a unanimous vote, and the article carries. Article 6 is an authorization to appropriate the revised fiscal 2015 general operating budget in the amount of $8,549,405, and that will be paid for with transfers from Overlay Reserve, the Wetlands Protection Fund, free cash, and from taxation. This motion is by Mr. Pepe, seconded by Mr. Gary Woodbury. Requires a majority vote. Finance Committee, please.
Finance Committee unanimously recommends approval.
Now, you all have a readout of this budget if you have any questions. Are there any questions from the floor on the article? Ready for the question? All those in favor, please raise your cards. Thank you. Those opposed? And the chair will declare that a unanimous vote in favor, and the article carries. Article 7. Article 7, the motion I have here is I move we pass over Article 7. Article 7 was the override request, which depended upon approval at the recent general election. It did not secure that approval, so there's no point in acting on this particular article. The motion requires a majority vote. The motion is by Mr. Pepe, seconded by Mr. Woodbury. Finance Committee, please.
Recommends pass over.
All those in favor? Thank you. Those opposed? The article carries. Unanimous vote. The article is passed over. Article 8. Article 8 is an authorization to transfer monies to fund capital expenditures. There are 4 particular expenditures here for the Sugden Block, the Fire Department, the Town Hall, and the Town Hall, one of which is the boiler. So please vote in favor of this. Motion I have is by Mr. Woodbury, Mr. Gary Woodbury, seconded by Mr. Stevens. It requires a majority vote. Finance Committee, please.
Unanimously recommend approval.
Are there any questions or comments on this article? I think you all want to go home. All those in favor, please raise your cards. Thank you. Those opposed? Thank you very much. That passes unanimously. Article 9 is an authorization to transfer monies to fund capital expenditures. This is a request to transfer $100,000 for Water Department Capital Efficiency Plan, specifically pipe replacements, as I understand it. This will come from the Water Department's free cash or retained earnings. It requires a majority vote. The motion is by Mr. Gary Woodbury, seconded by Mr. Stevens. Finance Committee, please.
Unanimous recommendation of approval.
Questions or comments on Article 9? Ready for the vote? All those in favor? Thank you. Those opposed? and this carries by unanimous vote. Article 10. Article 10 is an authorization to adopt a license fee exemption, and this would provide that for folks that are age 70 years and older, you still have to register your dog with the town clerk, but you don't have to pay the fee. This is a majority vote required. Motion is by Mr. Stevens, seconded by Mr. Fritz. Requires a majority vote. Finance Committee, please.
Unanimously recommends approval.
Questions or comments? Yes, sir.
Mike Malone, 128 Mechanic Street. Just a quick question. Do we have how much money is involved in this, since there's no dollar amount on this? Thank you.
Mr. Stevens.
After looking at the numbers with Laura in the town clerk's office, just as a background, the past 4 years been pretty consistently about $21,000 a year in fees. We do not take the age of the owners when they pay the fees, but our best estimate is that this will probably, that there may be 100 folks, 100 dog owners, so we're talking in the neighborhood maybe of $1,000 maximum that would be revenue lost in this measure. It comes down to, providing a perk, for our elderly, but in dollar amounts, that's what you're looking at, amount of revenue will be foregoing. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Stevens. Questions, comments? Ready for the vote. All those in favor, please raise your cards. Thank you. Those opposed? I see two opposed. We'll declare that 48-2 in favor, and the article carries. Article 11 is an authorization to accept a donation for land purchase. And this is to see if the town will accept a donation from the Common Ground Land Trust in the amount of $8,250 for purposes of providing a match to funding by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts to purchase an agricultural preservation restriction on the small farm. This is essentially a pass-through. The money would come into the hands of the town and then be passed to the Commonwealth for disposition by them. The motion I have is by Mr. Stevens, seconded by Mr. Fritz. And the motion is I move to waive the reading and approve the article as printed in the warrant. Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor, please raise your cards. Thank you. Those opposed? Article 12, an authorization to negotiate right-of-way easements. This is an article to authorize the Board of Selectmen to negotiate temporary construction easements with regard to the project to redevelop Main Street and repave it to a maximum of consideration of less than $1,000 per parcel. So to the extent that turnarounds are needed or construction easements are needed to fix up the road, this would allow the town to get those to a grand total of $10,000. The motion I have is by Mr. Gary Woodbury, seconded by Mr. Fritz. This requires a 2/3 vote because the money will come from stabilization, not from the tax funds. Finance Committee, please.
Recommends approval.
Finance Committee recommends approval. Do you have any questions on this? Last chance to talk before you go home. All those in favor, please raise your cards. Thank you. Those opposed? I declare a unanimous vote on that. All right, and officially the chair declares Article 11 to be a unanimous vote. With that, the chair will accept the motion to dissolve the meeting. Second?
Second.
All those in favor? Thank you very much. It's a cold night. I appreciate your coming.